I froze out my wife after she told people that having intercourse with me does nothing for her. For context, we, male 56 and female 47, have been together for 26 years, married for over 20 years. One child. We always try to make the most of our weekends together, and yesterday was no exception. We had a day out, shopping and food, then met up with acquaintances for a few drinks before heading home. The subject got around to relationships and how to keep the flame burning. One of the younger women asked my wife how to keep intercourse enjoyable after being with the person for so long.
I don't know, having intercourse with me has done nothing for me since our child, 18, was born.
There was an awkward silence and people started making excuses to leave. Traveling home, mostly in silence, I asked her if she thought that was an appropriate comment and that I wanted her to apologize. As per usual, she doubled down and blamed me for being too sensitive. Since then, there has been no communication. Here is an update to the story. She has said that she meant penetrative intercourse means nothing to her as she is unable to orgasm that way since childbirth. That is not what she said in public. I knew there was an issue, bought the equipment/balls to help her tighten up, but they were never used. Intercourse would consist of a lot of foreplay, oral, and, occasionally, toy play. This would give her 3 or 4 orgasms before penetration. I thought she enjoyed the intimacy. I don't guilt her into intercourse. When we had our child, I waited 10 months before we resumed physical intimacy. I'm not going to insult her to make myself feel better. 2 wrongs make it a hell of a lot worse. She has tried to blame the comment on the menopause. She is perimenopause and the few drinks that she had, but I'm not buying it. That's an excuse, not an apology. I'm not the typical Scotsman, no deep-fried Mars bars for me. I do a physical job and run 5K every second day. I was a 32-inch waist when we married and I'm a 34 waist 20-odd years later. To be truthful, I'm feeling shocked, shame, embarrassment, and emasculation. I can't imagine ever being intimate with her again. I wanted to divorce my wife because she caused me to go to the ER. Bit long, sorry in advance. I now see how easy it is when write down your thoughts. I always wondered why people wrote so much. So my wife, 45 female, and I, 50 male, have been married for almost 20 years. We have a 16-year-old daughter, and life has been pretty good. We've had our ups and downs like any marriage. But we work together through it. We have even done marriage counseling a couple of times to get ourselves on the right track. Mostly IRL stuff and feeling like roommates. When it comes to household chores, I've always cleaned the house, as I'm a bit OCD with cleaning due to growing up in a house with roaches as a kid. She takes care of the laundry, and we split making dinners on days I'm off as I work 12 hours a day, 4 days a week. Keto takes care of the dishes. So herein lies the issue. The wife is going through perimenopause. She's been super emotional and a bit unlike herself for the last 6 months or so. She is taking meds to help even out her hormones, but it's taking time. One day, she is overly nice, and the next day complains about every little thing and gets all bent out of shape. So yesterday morning was one of her bad days. I forgot to set up the coffee pot to make coffee in the morning. When I went down, she was all bent out of shape over it. I tried my normal tactic of apologizing, as I had a migraine and went to bed early and just forgot. Told her I would make coffee in a bit as I just woke up and needed a little bit to get the morning fog out of my head. Typical thing for me in the morning. She didn't like this answer, so as I went to sit on the couch, she threw her coffee cup at me, causing it to smash into my head, breaking and splitting my head open. At first, I was pissed that she actually threw something at me like WTF, but then felt liquid, blood obviously as I couldn't see it, going down my neck. I put my hand on it, pulled it back, thinking it was coffee, and then saw the blood. Of course, at the sight of this, my wife all of a sudden freaked out and screamed at my daughter to get a towel. All the while apologizing to me and crying, stating she was sorry. We headed to the ER and had our daughter drive as my wife couldn't as she was a hot mess. Luckily, it wasn't so deep that it needed stitches, and they used that glue stuff. The thing is, I had a rough childhood/home life. I was physically abused by my mom all the way up until I left at 18. My wife knows this, and when she did what she did, it brought back all those memories so long ago forgotten. I love my wife, but I swore to myself that I would never be in a place where I'd be abused ever again. And now I don't know if I would be the asshole if I filed for divorce because of this. I know her hormones are partially to blame, but also know she's an adult and responsible for her actions. I guess I'm just looking for advice, wondering if am I the a-hole if I decide to leave. Maybe I just needed to vent a little, too. I laughed when my wife exposed our daughter. Throwaway. My 66 male wife, 66 female, and I have a daughter, 41 female. Our daughter is married and has 2 kids, Violet 15F and Ben 10M. Our daughter and her family have been living with us for a while. We have a big house. My wife and I live on the first floor. The second floor is for our daughter and her family. Since Violet is 15, a teen, her parents are trying to make sure she doesn't get into trouble or do hard drugs. It was 5 a.m., and my wife and I were eating breakfast. Our daughter came downstairs holding Violet's phone. We recognized it was her phone because of the purple cover. Violet and our son-in-law, 41 male, came after her. It seemed like she was checking her phone for the first time. Violet is a calm teen, doesn't fight at school, doesn't sneak out of the house, just a normal kid. But it looked like her phone wasn't like that at all. Our daughter found these videos on YouTube. In case you guys didn't know what ASMR is, they are videos where people make quiet sounds that are meant to make you relaxed. Some people make these videos, but with a different type of sound. Our daughter tried to play one of them, but the volume was high, so we all heard a couple of seconds. It was inappropriate. I wanted to laugh but stayed silent. I'm not an old man, I know what kids do. Our daughter was a teen, my wife was a teen, and I was a teen. Violet didn't look the part, she looked like a library girl, which made it funnier. Our daughter started scolding Violet and said she'll punish her. Our son-in-law was behind her. He was trying to look mad, but instead, he had a blushing expression. This guy/face is exactly how our son-in-law looked. My wife looked uninterested. She wanted to eat breakfast in peace. She looked at our daughter and said, "Let's not pretend that you didn't do worse than that. If these videos were the only things you've done, I would have stayed at church and thanked Jesus day and night." I started laughing, and our son-in-law cracked a smile and laughed silently. Violet looked at her mom in surprise. It looked like a scene out of a sitcom. My wife continued to eat her toast. Our daughter looked embarrassed and said that it wasn't about her. She looked at me and said, "Dad, stop laughing, you ruined the scolding, good job." I did indeed ruin the scolding, but my wife made me ruin it. There is no way I could not laugh at that. She makes me laugh even when she doesn't mean to.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.